Floyd Boucard making his college commitment. Could it be Alabama? We're going to get into that. Guy picked yesterday. Didn't go the Tide's way. Yeah, we'll talk about that for a second. SEC media making their selections for the best players in the conference. A lot of Bama players in that group, and one of my all-time favorite Alabama Crimson Tide. You talk about gamers. Kenyan Drake announces his retirement. We're going to get into all that right here on the Bama Tailgate YouTube channel. Like and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. Thanks for hanging out with us, everybody. And let's get this thing started with a Roll Tide. All right, gang. Good to see you on this weekend. There's big, sexy Elmo. You know him as Brett Elmore from the Brett Elmore Show. I'm Nick Gillespie. Guys, we're brought to you by our friends at Pearl River Resort. And let's get into it right away, Brett. Three-star defensive lineman could possibly pick Alabama, and we're keeping an eye on this stuff.
Yeah, big guy. He's going to be announcing at 2:30, or 3:30 this afternoon. Big defensive lineman Floyd Boucard, the number 41 defensive lineman in the country. He's got Alabama on his list, Oklahoma, Miami, and USC. We're in the mix for this guy, Mick, but a lot of folks are predicting he's going to go to Oklahoma, but still, who knows?
Yeah, right. Well, we always keep an eye on it. You never know. I haven't heard any buzz that he'd be possibly coming to Alabama. And when you look at the on-3 recruiting prediction machine, they say 95% he's going to Oklahoma. But you put the Alabama hat on the table, tells you that something about Alabama is interesting to him. Alabama, though, has mostly dealt in 5 and 4 stars. Not to say that this guy's not going to be a good player, but it just kind of goes to show where this program's been. A lot of top 100 players. Although I would like to see Alabama maybe add some more beef up front.
Sure. Yeah. That never hurts. Of course, we talk about the games won at the line of scrimmage, and got to have that good offensive and defensive line, man.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So you talk about that, and it's kind of going into 5-star Derek Meadows picking LSU, but you want to be in the mix for all of these guys. And they don't drop off the board just because they commit to another program. It's one of those things where you commit to another program, but the way that this thing works now, you still continue to recruit these guys until they sign on the dotted line. And with the transfer portal, those relationships never really end.
No, and the thing about Derek Meadows, and we'll get to that, making his commitment yesterday. Yeah, he was originally set to commit last week. Apparently, Alabama and LSU were battling for him, and then Alabama fell off, and Notre Dame came back in, and that's where he was torn, and eventually went to LSU. So, but you're right. With these guys, you never know until they sign on the dotted line.
Crazy thing was that Notre Dame, he was a Notre Dame heavy lean. Almost felt like he was a commitment there, and then they didn't end up getting him. I never really – I'm not saying that I didn't think Alabama was going to get him, because nothing surprises me. But it didn't feel like the Caleb Cunningham deal where you figured he was going to be at Alabama. Now, he took a visit to Auburn this weekend, and a lot of people were a little worried about that. But it's the same thing. Once these guys commit, you feel comfortable about that. Let them go. They're going to go to other schools and look. And I can't think of anything that Auburn can offer that Alabama can't offer. You got Kalen DeBoer, a wide receivers coach, basically, the head coach, right? Former wide receiver, loves the position, knows how to get him the ball. Much easier guy to deal with than Hugh Freeze, who seems kind of just a little bit a tick weird to me. And then, he does, right? I mean, think about the story where he's telling his intern, not to wear a Grateful Dead shirt at work. Like,
oh, that's where he got you right there, wasn't it?
I'm never going to let him live that down for me.
Right.
But I just always kind of felt like he was a little strange. And then, I mean, I know he's a good coach. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Then you look at the programs, where they're at, and what Alabama could offer. And that's like, look, man, if you're going to go take these visits, take them. And it's not like they're going to blow you away with the NIL either. I mean, you can basically do whatever you need to do against any of these programs, and you have to be confident like that when you're at Alabama, that you feel like, hey, we've got the right mix of everything here that you guys that are playing football want to be a part of.
Well, the comments that Caleb Cunningham kind of put out yesterday kind of proved that he was pretty much all in at Alabama and not going to go to Auburn. They made me laugh a little bit. It was like, these people don't put wide receivers in the NFL.
He's definitely locked in, and feeling good about Caleb Cunningham. Yeah. All right, let's talk about this, man. SEC makes selections during media day. You love this. So you were telling me right off the bat, you're like, it's like a whole Alabama team.
Yeah, I mean, you had 16 players earning spots on either the first, second, or third team. So, that's great. It's always great to have these preseason honors. Just looking at the first team, you had Tyler Booker on there, Deontay Lawson, Malachi Moore, and the special teams. Burnip at punter and Nealon Hibbett, our long snapper, first team, all SEC.
Yeah, special teams. I think Alabama lost the championship because of bad special teams. The year that they lost that kick six game.
Yes.
If you would have had one of the kickers that they've had the last couple of years, you don't lose those games. You're not afraid to kick the ball.
Right. Yeah. I had 4 on the second team and then a ton on the third team. So including Jalen Milroe was third team quarterback. But
is that shocking to you?
No, not really. Not really. I mean, I think there's a couple other quarterbacks, maybe 3, that a lot of people put up at the top, and I think Carson Beck, I think, was like the first team, and the kid out in Texas was the second team. So, I mean, it doesn't shock me, does it? You?
The guy's going to have to go out there and lank, as he calls it, right?
Right. Yeah.
Because there's a lot of naysayers.
Right. And of course, they predicted Georgia to win the SEC title. Predicted a Georgia-Texas matchup. Bama finishes third, ahead of Ole Miss. But remember, the media experts have only predicted the winner 9 times in 32 years.
Yeah, right.
And I would assume a lot of those were probably Alabama during the Nick Saban years.
Yeah, no doubt.
So.
Well, look, man, I got to tell everybody this too. Show's always brought to you by newlifeart.com. Use the promo code Bama Tailgate for a great discount next time you're there. One of the coolest things that I have from New Life Art is the statue of Kenyan Drake diving for the corner of the end zone. They did a statue, and it's so cool. Yeah, it's so cool. And, and I was at that game. It was one of my favorite Alabama games ever, beating Clemson for the title. And now, look, the Roll Tide Pod show I do with Jake Coker, who was the quarterback, you get to talk about it all the time and meet a lot of those guys. And I hope that one day we get this guy on the show, because Kenyan Drake's been awesome. He had a great NFL career, speed, really tough guy, and proud of everything that he accomplished in his career. But to me, it's still that kickoff return that put the game away against Clemson. Without it, I don't know that Alabama wins that title.
Right, yeah.
Announces his retirement from the NFL.
Yeah, and I think he says he's played football for 22 years, I think, or whatever. And he says, I put all into it, and he's going to enjoy his retirement, and I don't blame him.
So happy trails, but like I said, man, hopefully we'll get a chance to to talk to him. Brett, you have the picture of Kenyan Drake scoring that touchdown, and there's a guy painted in the background that looks a lot like you. And you said you were in that spot when the game turned with that play, so it could very well be you.
Look, Mick, it's hard to mistake this head, and I think when you saw it, and Daniel Moore was probably looking at a photo, and he's like, whoa, look at that guy's head. He's like, I got to take that in. I got space I need. I was there on the sidelines right in front of the cheerleaders when he dove. It was great.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was awesome. All right, guys, I want to remind you that we're always proud to tell you that we're brought to you by Pearl River Resort over in Philadelphia, Mississippi. Those guys are fantastic. The Timeout Sports Lounge is it's really Vegas in your backyard. Hour and a half from Tuscaloosa, 2 hours change from Birmingham. Go there now, play the sports book, $50, and you can go out and do the golf at Dancing Rabbit for $40. That's a great deal. Table games and slots, some awesome shows coming up. And Rodney Carrington, the comedian's going to be there. They got Geyser Falls, which is their water park, all that at Pearl River Resort. Man, they are the best, and you guys will love it when you get over there. All right, when we get back, Brett takes over the show, Big Sexy Elmo, after this quick timeout.
Resort. They call him Big Sexy, coming at you from the Walker County. Jasper is his hometown. He's known for giving free rundowns. Oh, Big Sexy, throwing out those Alabama thoughts, sneaking out your mom's window without getting caught. It gives you the XP, but Big Elmo is here to please. Big Sexy Elmo on the Bama Tailgate Show.
The mixture, I tell you what, it's the 21st day of July, 2024, and we'll take a look at this date. Not a whole lot going on, Meg, but we will get to couple of birthdays. John Lovitz, funny guy, 67 today.
He was like the character guy on SNL, right? I mean, he was always kind of there in the background. Likable guy. Definitely likable guy. Not quite the character actor that Phil Hartman was, who was one of my all-time favorites, but still really good.
Right. He was really good in The Critic. It was like a cartoon. That was really good. Cat Stevens, the folk singer, the songwriter, now goes by Yusuf Islam, is 76 today.
Yeah, not a huge fan, but the one song, what is that one song he had? Is it Cats in the Cradle or something?
In the silver spoon.
Yeah.
Little boy blue and the man on the moon. Anyway, it's his birthday today. And Damian Marley, the son of Bob Marley, is 46 today.
I love Bob Marley so much so that when I went to the Wax Museum yesterday, this is actually me with Bob Marley. I'm playing drums.
You're playing the drums. Nice. Nice.
Bob Marley's like, he is a Mount Rushmore of music, man. I love him. So happy birthday to his son. He's also got Ziggy. Don't forget about Ziggy. Ziggy had a hit. He had a hit.
Yeah. A couple of really good things if you want to celebrate today. Invite an alien to live with you day.
Are we talking like illegal aliens, or are we talking like extraterrestrial aliens?
If I'm talking to you, it's extraterrestrial, because you would let one live with you. I know you would.
They might already live with us. We don't know.
You never know.
Don't know. I mean, they could be in another dimension that we can't see.
Today is let's see, National Junk Food Day. We can celebrate that.
Yeah, we love junk food. I thought you were going to say National Junk Day, like Fred Sanford. we send each other Fred Sanford, Sanford and Son clips a lot.
Yeah, yeah. And it's also, and I wish I had one, Take a Monkey to Lunch Day.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You mean monkey like with 2 E's at the end? So it'd be
No.
like Peter Tork or monkeys. Michael Nesmith or Davy Jones?
No. I'm talking about a monkey.
Would you have a pet monkey if you could? We watch YouTube videos of pet monkeys a lot.
I would love to have one. It'd probably be a lot of upkeep, but could you imagine how cool you'd be going around with like an emotional support monkey?
Being at the airport a lot recently, it surprises me how many people throw the emotional support dog vest on animals that are they're just not pro animals. I mean,
right. Yeah. They just want to take their dog on the flight.
That's right.
Their fur baby, excuse me.
Yeah.
Oh God. Anyway,
I didn't know schnauzers were seeing eye dogs.
I didn't either. I mean, and this poodle, I tell you what, I didn't know this thing was. It's ridiculous sometimes. But I would be the cool one with an emotional support monkey.
Yeah, that's true. Do they have little vests for the monkeys?
Yeah. I would have him a little cowboy hat or something really cool to wear.
They used to have a promotion in baseball. The monkey's name was Whiplash, and he would ride around on a dog.
Monkeys riding dogs. Yes.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to. I've seen the commercials for it. This day, 1951, a guy was born that we lost way too soon, and from depression. Robin Williams was born this day in 1951.
Yeah, it's a tough one, man. I had a great friend, guy that owned the bar I bartended at in Tuscaloosa, Boo Radley's, Blake Larry, and he committed suicide. And, I think about it a lot. I talked to him like a week before. I was going to see him a week later. We didn't talk on the phone a lot, but we, text. And I always wonder, like, what I could have done. Could I have done anything to help? And so I had a friend go through something, a divorce recently, and I spent a lot of time at the beginning of that in his life.
Yeah.
And I know that he would have done the same thing for me. And I think that's what we can learn from it. If you can figure out, hey man, this guy, or this friend, needs some help. The best thing you can do is just be a good friend. Maybe be a little more hands-on than normal, but I've thought about it a lot, and sometimes there's nothing we can do to help, but at least
and as someone who suffers from depression, this is just a very this is just an example of a guy that just seemed like he had everything going for him and always wanted to make people laugh and always had a smile on his face, and you never knew what was going on inside. And it was really sad when we lost Robin Williams. It really was.
So funny, man. So funny. I loved Mork and Mindy. I knew him my whole life because that show was on rerun. We used to watch it all the time, and then he was in so many great movies. And, the first time I went on your radio show, I was doing my impression of him when he was doing Good Morning Vietnam.
That's
Remember,
right.
I was like, good morning, Walker County.
There it is. That's a look at this day in history. Hope everyone has a wonderful Sunday.
Yeah, guys, thanks for hanging with us. We do love you for being here, and roll tide, everybody.